In this lesson, we're going to look at how Python variables work and how Python represents literal values and how to do basic arithmetic. So we'll open up our script playground. To assign a value to a variable, you simply use the single equals operator. So you could say x equals 5. And now, if I run this, you can see that the variable x represents the value 5. So the single equals is the assignment operator in Python. You can pick any name you want to name your variable. It just has to start with a letter or an underscore and then consist of letters, digits, or underscores. So for example, this is valid, but for a different example, that is not, because it starts with a digit. So it has to start with a letter or an underscore. As for literal values, we've already seen one. 5 is a literal value of an integer. So numbers don't need much explanation. If you want an integer, you just type it in. If you want a floating point number, you just type that in as well, using a period as the decimal separator. Strings require a little bit more explanation. So to use a string literal, you surround your string in quotes. So for example, this is a string in quotes will give me a string literal. The neat thing about Python is that it actually allows you to use both or either double quotes or single quotes to quote your string. So for example, if I switch this to single quotes, this is also a valid string literal. And the nice thing about this is that whichever quotes you use to quote your string literal, you can use the other kind of quote inside of the string without escaping it. So for example, if I wanted to use double quotes inside of my string, I could quote my string using single quotes, and I wouldn't have to worry about the double quotes inside of the string breaking the string literal. Also, of course, if I wanted to use a single quote inside of the string, I would have to escape it using a backslash. So that's how I could get a single quote inside of a string literal that was quoted using single quotes. There's another kind of quote that you can use for string literals if you need multiple lines, and that's the triple double quote. So you use double quotes and you use 3 of them, and now I can use many lines. And you end that quote also with 3 double quotes, and you can see that I've created a string literal that covers multiple lines. Alright, so we've covered how to declare a new variable simply by assigning a literal value to it. Now let's talk about arithmetic real quick. So arithmetic in Python works probably the same as any other language you've ever used. You've got addition and subtraction, of course. Just clear the output here. And you've got multiplication, which is an asterisk. And you have division, which is a /. The only thing to realize about the arithmetic in Python is how the operator precedence works. So if I wanted 5 times 1 plus 1, it's important to realize here that the multiply and divide operators have a higher operator precedence than the addition operator. So this isn't going to do 5 times 2. It's going to do 5 plus 1. You can see that here. And so to get around the natural language's operator precedence, if you wanted to do 5 times 2, you can use parentheses to give any sub-expression a higher precedence. So now the things inside of the parentheses will execute before the multiplication executes. So now I can get 5 times 2.